Sausage Bowl podcast for week 5. I'm your host, Danny, and as usual, I'm joined here by my co-host, Cosmo.
Going.
And this week, we've got a special, controversial, even some people say. No one knows what he's going to do next, living his life on the edge. We've got the first round choker of last year, Akshay.
So guys, who wants Sanders?
Yeah. All right. All right.
Yikes.
Yeah. trying
Moving along.
to make trade moves in our intro. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on. But how was your Cosmo? How was your weekend in fantasy this week? Past week?
It was good. I know no one probably cares, but my fantasy baseball season wrapped up this weekend. Finished first, second, and third in my 3 leagues. $100 there, so that was good. And then I got to beat Duncan. I usually have a lot of trouble beating Duncan, so getting that W against him was pretty nice. So pretty good weekend, and ready to get into it.
So is that a portrayal of your guys' matchup in the future in fantasy football?
Ooh.
If I see him in the playoffs, that guy's getting his butt whooped.
Just like, wait, didn't you all play each other this past? Oh, man.
I mean, I gave him a
Ouch.
butt whooping this week.
Ouch. Oh, I thought you meant in fantasy baseball you beat Duncan. I was confused.
My apologies.
I effed that up. My bad. Yeah, you squashed Duncan. Okay, we'll get to that later. All right, Akshay, how was your weekend in fantasy?
We don't talk about that. We move on from that. Shake it
Okay,
off.
do you regret dropping Derrick Henry at all?
Oh yes. He was my biggest regret of the season.
Okay, what
Dropping
round
him.
did you draft him in?
Third.
Oh, okay, just checking.
He should have. Now looking at it, should have been a first round pick, but mistakes
Right.
happened.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so as usual for this podcast, we've got our news of the week. We'll move into our top players of the week as well. We'll get right into those bench regrets that everyone likes to see. Our King Sausage and Stinky Sausage of the week. Then we'll have our special Akshay specific segment. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be a juicy one. Then we've got our week 4 matchup review with a new segment called Keeping Up with Matt, where we're going to go check out Matt Berry's love-hate players for the last 4 weeks and see how correct he was. And it's probably awful. So we're not going to look at the future one because that always curses your team for the next week if you've got one of those guys. So you can look that up on your own. But we're going to look up on the past ones. And this is going to be a new segment every week. And we're going to keep the record that Matt has on his love-hate players. So new section, keeping up with Matt. Then we'll go over our key transactions, all that, week 3 preview, and of course our bold predictions. So let's go ahead and get started with the news of the week. All right, Cosmo, what's our news of the week?
All right, Danny. Well, before we go into maybe the biggest headline of the week, let's go into some injuries. And the first being Tyler Eifert has broken his ankle and it will be out for the season. And yeah, ouch indeed for Tyler Eifert. And it's a bummer because this guy cannot catch a break. I feel like the last 3 or 4 seasons, he's just had some sort of injury that's just prevented him from playing. And I mean, you could see the pain in his face. I mean, he was literally crying when they rolled him off the field last Sunday. So I feel for Tyler Eifert, but if you owned him, you're probably going to want to look for another option there at tight end.
So, Cosmo, was he crying as much as Fournette this week?
Funny you mentioned that. Leonard Fournette has re-injured his hamstring and is out for, I'm assuming, this week, for probably a couple weeks. We'll get into more of this later, but I have my thoughts on Leonard Fournette and how big of a pussy this guy is. So, but yeah, we'll get into that later. But then finally, T.Y. Hilton had some hamstring issues in that game. I think he had a chest and an ankle injury as well. Was pulled from the game and will be out for week 5 and possibly beyond. So if you own T.Y. Hilton, you might want to look out for that.
What's with all these hamstring injuries? There's 6 major players with hamstring injuries this year. Running too much, dude.
These people are they're weak. They're weak. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
that's the injuries for the week. Pretty light. Going to try and focus on the injuries that happened this week for the essence of time. But yeah, it sucks for those guys. But let's move on to probably the biggest headline of the week. And ESPN reported, I think a couple days ago, that Le'Veon Bell will report to the Steelers during their bye for week 7. And Danny, I got to ask you this. Do you buy this report, or do you think this is just all smoke?
Well, okay. So obviously, after each week, I was trying to shop around James Conner because I knew my time with him was limited, and I was like, maybe someone will finally believe that Le'Veon won't come back for a while and will want James Conner. But no one bit. Everyone wanted to wait and see what happened with Le'Veon Bell. So, but now with this report coming out, no one wants James Conner. So I'm just gonna hold on to him and see if he can help me out the next couple of weeks. But with this report, I don't know. I'm kind of confused because, like he, obviously was not even close to coming back, and then Earl Thomas breaks his leg, and Le'Veon tweets after that if if that could happen to him, then he's gonna remain being the bad guy and not show up because he doesn't want that to happen to him. And then literally like a day later, this ESPN report comes out that he's gonna report in week 7 and play in week 8. Um, so I don't know. I'm a little confused. I'm wondering if that was his original plan. His original plan was to show up in week 7, and then with this Earl Thomas injury happening, maybe he's rethinking it, but somehow the report already got leaked, and so they're like, "Oh, I got to report this," and they stick it out there, and so it might not be true. Um, I mean, he has to show up by at least week 10, so he has to play at some point this year.
Yeah.
Um, so I think this might have been his plan all along, but maybe he will, with the Earl Thomas injury, actually wait all the way to week 10 now. So
See,
I
I
think,
personally think this is all BS. I personally think that he's just doing this for the media's attention and for drama, for sake of it. No, no, no. I'll be honest. No, he's gotten so much media attention after he decided, to scrap for half the season, and now that he's apparently reported to come back for week 7, yet he has not confirmed everything. Yeah, he's leaking this himself. He's just trolling with everyone right now. He wants people to get riled up for nothing.
dang.
That's an interesting take there, but
Akshay coming out with the controversial take.
He's kind of like Trump, man. He lives on the media.
Oh,
we
shoot.
expected nothing less from Akshay,
Yeah,
so
nothing less
keep
from
those hot
Akshay.
takes coming.
But yeah, so I think my chances of trading Connor are pretty much over, so I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'll just ride him out, see how long I can use him. I don't know. He hasn't been that great lately, so but um yeah, uh I'm gonna say this was Le'Veon's plan before the Earl Thomas injury, and somehow the report got leaked out, and that's what everyone thinks. Because even the Steelers have said they haven't heard anything. So my guess is he's going to wait all the way till week 10 now.
Hmm.
Um, but his original plan was week 7. That's going to be my guess. He's going to wait all the way to week 10. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. So yeah, that looks like that was our injuries and our biggest headline of week 4 rolling into week 5. So thank you, Cosmo, for keeping us up to date always with the news of the week. So now let's move into the top players of the week, our top performers, and there are some new people that you would not expect on these top players of the week. Right here, top 5 quarterbacks. Number 1, Cosmo, can you tell me what does that name say in the number 1 quarterback of week 4?
Dude, I swear, I'm in the middle of something.
Oh,
Had a mild interruption there. Yeah, so what's weird is like I don't know how many tweets I saw this week of like Mitch Trubisky sucks. This guy is worse than Josh Allen. This guy's a
Ooh.
bust. And look at here, he finishes first as the top scorer of the week with 43.46 points, scored 6 touchdowns. That's just how football works, I guess. Sometimes, I mean that's crazy. Coming in,
not only was he scored the most this week, but I'm pretty sure that's the highest all year long for a quarterback is 43.46 points. So
God damn.
I really don't know what to think of Trubisky at this point, but I guess we'll see. Coming in at number 2, we have Jared Goff with 39.3 points sitting on Duncan's bench.
Nice and pretty.
Which
might come up later, might come up in a later section.
Spoiler alert there. Number 3, we have Andrew Luck with 33.66 points for Rahi. Unfortunately, was not enough to keep Danny from getting his first win there. Number 4, we have Deshaun Watson, who has 31.1 points. And then finishing off the list, we have Marcus Mariota at number 5 with 30.36 points, sitting nice and cozy on the waiver wire right now.
Dang, yeah, he might be a nice pickup for someone looking to stream. You never know. But all right, top 5 running backs of week 4. Of course, as usual, we've got Alvin Kamara, number 1 of the week, 38.6 points. Just absolute ridiculous point totals he's throwing up.
It's gonna be quite sad to see my name not next to him anymore, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah. Anyway, number 2, Zeke Elliott. Nice to see his name back in the top 5. 32 points for Brandon. Number 3, James White. 27.2 points for Duncan. Might be coming up again in a later section. Ouch, Duncan. And I'm just going to go ahead and play this for you.
Ow!
But yeah, so number 4, Tariq Cohen. 26.9 points. Just absolutely blowing Jordan Howard out of the water, making that situation very confusing for Cameron. And then number 5, who would have expected? Mike Davis, showing his name back there again, 26.4 points, right on the waiver wire. But who can you really trust in that Seattle backfield? So we'll have to see. Akshay, why don't you go ahead and hit us with our top 5 wide receivers of week 4?
All right, for the number 1, we got Cooper Kupp with 32.7 points on Cameron's bench.
What was that? What was his name?
Cooper Kupp.
Oh, okay.
For number 2, we got Golden Tate with 29.2 points with Rahi. And then we got DeAndre Hopkins with 27 points on Cameron's team. Followed right behind Taylor K-Rail with 26 points on the waiver list. If you guys want to pick him up, he'll be a great pick right now. Or not. I'll take him maybe. I might grab him up, We'll see. Or we have Corey Davis with 26.6 points on Cosmo's team.
Nice. And Cosmo, you want to finish us out with those sweet, not so sweet tight ends?
Yeah.
Yeah, so wrapping up our tight ends, the sexy Jared Cook finishes at number 1 with 27 points for Nahum. I think was on the bench, however, but didn't really matter there. Number 2, we have George Kittle with 21.5 points. Pretty surprising there, considering that Jimmy Garoppolo is out for the season, but that was pretty impressive. Number 3, also on Nahum's team, we have Travis Kelce with 17.3 points. Coming in at number 4, we have Zach Ertz with 16.2 points for Akshay. Oh, excuse me. I mean, and then finally at number 5, Trey Burton finishes with 15.6 points for Aaron. And that is.
I like to put it out there. Even if I did have Ertz, I still would not have won this week, so I didn't lose anything on that.
Hey, you had Ebron who had 12 points.
Yeah, he had 12 points. Yeah, he didn't do too bad.
Probably closer to the list. So
yeah, it worked out for both of us. Like I filled in my hole at tight end, and you.
I still haven't got a win since week 1.
All right. Well, if you want to put it that way, yeah. Okay, so now we've got. Those are our top performers of week 4. I know some people are still hoping that some of their players can get on there one day, but we'll have to see. I can tell you from experience, you can have multiple players on that list and still not win. So I'm thinking maybe soon we'll do, instead of a top players of the week, or maybe we'll do both. I think we should update the season-long top people, so far, just to see what's going on there, see who's at the top right now. But all right, well, those are top performers of week 4. Now we're going to move into the always popular bench Ragrets. All right, so this week, bench Ragrets, we take our 5 losing teams, look at their bench, and say, ooh, could you have played another guy and gotten that win? Or maybe it was just hopeless. I don't know. So first off, we've got Rahi going against myself, Whip My Nips versus Curry Jizz. Nope, there was nothing he could do. I dropped a lot of points on him this week, and got my first win, which was very nice. But
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you. Absolutely nothing he could do this week. So I'm sorry, Rahi. I'm sorry you had to go through that pain. Trust me, I know what it feels like 3 times in a row. So number 2, Duncan. Oh man, this one hurt. Duncan had Jared Goff on his bench and James White, and oh boy, you would know if he played those guys, he would have won. So let's see, who did he have on? Because you played him right, Cosmo. Who did he have
Yeah.
instead of those guys?
So he played Carson Wentz, who got roughly 20 points instead of Jared Goff, which, the hindsight 2020 looks bad, but I mean, I think you go with Wentz over Goff any day. Maybe not going forward, but at least for this week, I think anyone would have gone with Wentz.
Yeah, true.
And then he started Royce Freeman over James White. Be a little bit questionable there.
Yeah, so he was only 15 points down from you, but yeah, he could have gotten that win. So dang, the Cosmos striking down Duncan. Duncan got a little salt in the wound because he, whiffed on that on those bench Ragrets. All right, next we've got Aaron, who just seems to live by the sword and die by the sword, dude. Like beating me the other week by 0.1 points, and what do you know? He goes ahead and loses this week by about 0.1 points again. So his only bench regret I could see was Deshaun Watson, 31 points over Pat Mahomes, 22 points. Definitely would have gotten him the win because he was just barely behind Nahum. But I don't know. I don't know if you would. I mean, Deshaun Watson was having a downward slide. Pat Mahomes was absolutely on fire. I think anyone would have. Well, I don't know. Indianapolis's defense is pretty bad, and Denver's is pretty decent. So maybe you could have been able to call a slight decrease in Mahomes' production and a slight increase in Watson's production. But honestly, it looks like karma just came back to bite him in this one. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think with what Mahomes is doing right now, there's any way you can sit him on the bench. Like, I don't blame Aaron at all for this one, but yeah, I think it's just a tough break there.
I think I would like if I played Watson over Mahomes, and Watson got and I lost, and Mahomes went off of my bench. I think I would regret that more than playing Mahomes and having Watson go off of my bench.
We would be on here roasting him like crazy if that was the opposite situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's Aaron, so we probably would have just roasted him regardless. But
ouch! Well, I thought that was my job.
I'm just kidding.
We will get there, young sir.
I picked him. Yeah, let's save him for last. Okay, Taylor. Oh man, Taylor, I'm just gonna play this again for you. I'm sorry, Taylor. Things are just not going Taylor's way. I mean, he scores his highest point total of the season so far with 109 points, and it's still not enough to win. And on his bench was Amari Cooper, Tom Brady, and Deion Lewis, who could have helped him get the win over Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzmagic coming in with that smoking hot 3 points for the week. Oh, I'm sure that was a very tasty snack right there.
So, I thought my quarterback did bad.
If Taylor left Brady in the lineup, I guarantee you Fitzpatrick would have thrown another 400-yard game and would not have been benched for Jameis Winston.
I know. That's what I was going to say is I think this just comes down to the Taylor, curse or whatever.
Fighting the points.
Amari Cooper is, as soon as Taylor puts Amari Cooper in his lineup, Amari Cooper becomes Amari Pooper. He just gets 2 points. And whenever he's on Taylor's bench, he gets 30 points. And then, I think it's the same with Tom Brady. So I think Taylor shouldn't even have a regret here. I think we're just coming to the realization no matter who he plays, his bench is going to go off and his starting lineup's not going to go off. Taylor might even agree with that. That's the conclusion we're having to draw. 4 weeks into the season, I don't know.
Yeah, that dude can't catch a break.
Yeah, I know. He texted me and was like, I see that you have the highest points scored, but the most points scored against you. You might have it worse than me. And I was like, dude, I don't know. You're getting smacked around left and right by karma. So I don't I don't know who really has it worse there. But our
Yeah.
final bench regrets of the
Oh,
week, our very own, the guest of the week, Akshay losing to Cameron. Ouch. Let's
I
see
would
if
like to
you.
say, I could have won if my defense did something and I did not have Russell Wilson in my starting quarterback lineup. If I had put Cousins with his 29 points and I had a defense that scored at least 10 points, like 5 points, and Jamal Williams scored a couple more points than he did, I would have won. So it has
All
nothing
right.
to
Well,
do with my
that's
team. It's
yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, you need
That's
like half your team to
no,
do
no,
that.
no.
so.
What I'm
I,
saying is my team sucks.
I don't think you understand the point of this section, Akshay. This isn't, oh, if my guys had scored this or that. No, this is who you didn't play. This is who you didn't play. And I'm looking at your bench and I'm adding up the math, and you had no chance. You were gonna lose no matter who you played this week, you were gonna lose. So that is this section. It's not, oh man, I wish Jamal Williams, if he had run a little bit. No, no, shut up. You don't know this section. Just kidding. Yeah,
I
Akshay,
see how it is. I see
no
how it
chance
is.
this week. Trying to make things work, but now we're not going to let him do that. All right,
Trying to play with
so
the chess pieces.
yeah, we all can wish for our players to play better. So, uh, nope, no chance for Akshay this week against Cameron. Cameron's shutting him down, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Those are our bench regrets of week 4. We'll see who's on there next week. But for now, we're going to move into everyone's favorite section of the week. We're going to crown our King Sausage. Ooh, I can't wait for that. And we're going to give a nice fat stinky boop to our Stinky Sausage of the week. So right now, let's go ahead and get into the King Sausage of the week. Ooh, all right, Cosmo, hit me with it.
Yeah, the King
Yes.
Sausage was won by Danny.
Oh, let's go. I'm back for 1 week at least.
For 1 week, yeah, you're not going to win any more games after this.
Oh, okay.
Man, some tough words there from Akshay.
Cosmo, I'd like a little more hype from you, please.
Okay. The King Sausage Award was won by Danny.
Cut me a break, okay? Cut me a break. I needed some hope. I needed some light at the end of this tunnel.
In all honesty, I was glad to see you win it. You've been tortured all year. Your team has not been able to catch a break. Whichever team goes against you, it seems like they inject some steroids into their players and just goes off every single week. So it was nice to finally you were able to get your W and do it in an explosive fashion. So congrats, Danny.
I think
Yeah.
2 of my losses, they were the King Sausage of the week. It was Akshay and it was Aaron. And then last week I lost to Duncan, but Nahum was the King Sausage of the week, I think. So, dang, 2 out of 3 of my losses, they were the King Sausage. So yeah, kind of
Hell, King
stinks,
Danny.
but I feel good. I will humbly accept this award, and I will go
Congratulations,
ahead and just put it off to the
Congratulations.
side because I know if I try to flaunt it anymore, I'm gonna end up losing like 6 more games. So I will take it. Thank you. I'll humbly accept it, and I will move on right into the Stinky Sausage of the week. Ouch. Yeah. Who? Akshay, can you read the docket here? Who is the Stinky Sausage of the week?
I'm sorry, I don't know what we're looking at. I think we just move on. Move on,
Okay,
yeah, right?
Cosmo, he's blind. Who's the Stinky Sausage of the week?
You know, we have our first ever 2-time Stinky Sausage Award winner. It is one person that is in this call right now, and obviously Danny has won the King Sausage, and I believe I won my matchup. So I think that just leaves one other person here.
That's right. Stinky Sausage of week 4 comes into President Vladimir Putin Akshay!
You know what? Technically, in hindsight, if we're not first, aren't we all last? In this case, all of us are last besides Nahum here.
Yeah, no, you got the Stinky Sausage all by yourself. No one else is taking that award. So,
I
yeah.
do want to mention, though, I think I'm the only one who's won the Stinky Sausage and the King Sausage so far.
I think you're correct.
That is true. You've won 3 awards so far. 2 of them
Yeah.
stinky, 1 not so stinky. So
Yeah.
congrats on that.
I mean, props to Akshay for keeping his name relevant. I mean, this 4 weeks so far, and he's got 3 awards: King Sausage and 2 Stinky Sausage. You know, he's staying relevant. So, might
And
just
I'm
not.
still not last.
Yeah,
Just putting that up there.
that's true. I mean, you're not the overall Stinky Sausage so far, but you have been the Stinky Sausage. Were you the Stinky Sausage last week?
No, I think it was 2 weeks back. Week
Okay,
2.
okay.
Last week was our good buddy Taylor.
Oh yeah, that's right. After I predicted him to be the King Sausage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, there you have it. Our King Sausage, Stinky Sausage of the week. King Sausage is yours truly. With my nips, Danny. Humble, accept the award. No longer talk about it. Boom. Stinky Sausage, Akshay. Starting to become a regular thing, it seems like. So we'll see if he can shake that off and get another King Sausage award. And we'll see if Cosmo can go ahead and get one of those King Sausage awards too. He scored a lot this week. So we'll see if it moves on going forward. But now we're getting to the meat of the podcast. Ooh, you guys are going to enjoy this so much. We've got our special guest, our controversial guest on this week, Akshay. And we've got a very specific segment. I don't know if a couple of weeks ago you guys remember, we had Brandon Ramsey on. Well, this week we've got a specific segment for Akshay, and it is going to be our Sausage Bowl election tournament. That is right. We've got President Vladimir Putin on this week, and we're going to be pitting every team up against each other, and he's going to tell us who he votes for and why he's voting for them, and we're going to go through a little tournament bracket, and we're going to see who, at the end of the day, is nominated as the president of the Sausage Bowl Fantasy Football League, based on President Vladimir Putin. So that is right. We are going to go through the election tournament right here. We're going to base it off of our current rankings. So let's see what our current rankings are here. We've got number 1, Nahum 4-0. Number 2, Duncan. Number 3, Rahi. 4, Brandon. 5, Cosmo. 6, Aaron. 7, Cameron. 8, myself. 9, Akshay. And 10, Taylor. So Akshay is going to be removed from this tournament because he's just going to vote for himself the whole time probably. So now we're gonna have a little play-in game of the bottom 2 people, and then we're gonna go through the bracket here. So Cosmo, I'll lead us off, and then we can just alternate if you want, and then and Akshay can give us his reasonings behind his vote. So first off, here we go. First matchup, we've got Snack Attack Taylor versus Whip My Nips myself. All right, Akshay, who in this matchup would you vote for and why?
All right. So, what is it one thing that you always say that I am when it comes to this league?
Trash.
Besides that,
controversial.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll
okay,
go
my
with the
bad.
very controversial. No. I understand what you're going with, but meet me again next time we play. All right. But I'm gonna have to go with Taylor Snack Attack on this one because personally, I think Shaquan Barkley is going to lead him to toppling with my nits on this one, and I think that he is going to be the key differential here. And I'm sorry, Danny, I think your team's going to choke against Taylor's.
Ooh, yikes. So just to make sure you know, Akshay, this is not based on who's playing this week. You're just picking the team, which team you like more and the person you like more, and you're voting for them. So just remember that.
Still have to go with Taylor.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, all right. We'll go ahead and move on. So Taylor,
Right call there.
Taylor makes it into the play-in game, and now we're moving on to the next part of the bracket. Cosmo, why don't you lead us into the next matchup? We'll do number 4 and number 5.
Okay, yeah. Number 5, we have the glorious Gook.
You should change your name to that.
pretty good pick there. And then we have a registered sex offender there with repeat offender. So just know that if you vote for him, you are voting for a registered sex offender.
And what is wrong with that?
Oh God. All right. Who are you casting your vote for between repeat offender and Gook, and why?
I'm gonna have to go with the Gook on this one. Personally, I think the Gook, he's a beautiful young man, and I think his beauty is going to get him far in life. And based on his beauty alone, I think Gook has it in the bag.
All right, there you go. So we've got Cosmo moving on against. Oh, what's up, Cosmo?
I was just gonna say I appreciate that, and I think I think you would make a great co-host, if I must say myself.
Oh my God.
Well, I was waiting for you to ask. So whenever I guess next week we'll give it to Danny, right? Sounds about right.
We'll see how this tournament goes, but yeah, not saying I'm bribing or anything, but
Oh, for sure, for sure. All right, we can move on to the last two then, the final place, because I already know who won.
No, we're good. All right, let's keep going. So next matchup we've got number 3 versus number 6. We've got Curry Jizz Rahi versus Jimmy Garapahos. Aaron, who are you voting for between these two and why? And please be very detailed on this matchup.
Oh man, that's a hard one. We got Sir Jizz himself, and we got Mr. Trump lover. Man, that's a tough one. On one hand, we have a guy who drinks his own jizz and Corey style, and we have another guy who voted for Donald Trump. I must repeat that he voted for Donald Trump. You guys are going to think this is off of me, but I'm going to go with Jimmy Garapahos here.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Just like we all thought Donald Trump would lose the election, he threw us a curveball and he won. Maybe Garapahos knows something we don't.
Well, all right. I did not expect that. So we've got Aaron beating Rahi in the first round, moving on to the next round. All right, Cosmo, hit us with our next matchup.
At the number 7 seed, we have Anything But Last, Cameron, versus Fight Milk, Duncan Turnus.
Alrighty, well, we got Fight Milk and we got Cameron here. I'm going to have to go with Duncan here because, looking at the past week, I have not lost to Duncan yet, and Cameron, got lucky, so I'm going to go here with Duncan.
He got lucky. You don't think this was any skill on Cameron's part?
No. Everyone who beat me so far had no skill. It was all luck.
Oh, okay.
What a claim.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
it makes
I'm sure
perfect
you have
sense.
a lot of factual evidence to back that up. So,
Exactly.
okay, Duncan, Fight Milk, moving on. He got Akshay's vote to move on to the next round. Cameron, I am sorry you are going to the trash with the rest of us. All right, Duncan, moving on. Going into our final matchup of round 1, we've got, and I know he wants me to say this, and I'm just letting everyone know I'm reading his name. I'm not saying this, I'm reading his name, but we've had a recent name change of our number 1 seed. Nahum has now changed his name to Slavery Was a Choice, and I'm sure that is going to get, someone's going to soundbite that or something and all that stuff, so that's great.
We're getting our intern on that.
Yeah. All right, so we've got Nahum, number 1 seed, versus the play-in game winner, Snack Attack. All right, Akshay, who wins in this matchup and why?
Alrighty, just based on names alone, I think you two have one of the greatest names in our league easily, with the updated Slavery Was a Choice.
Do you
But
think that's a good name?
oh, well, you guys don't agree? Slavery was a choice.
Good. I'm not gonna make any comment.
All right,
So this is all you.
who are you voting for in this matchup?
Name alone, I'm gonna have to go with Nahum on Slavery Was a Choice. Sorry, Taylor.
Ooh, all right. Taylor doesn't make it farther than the round 1. Nahum wins. Okay, so now we're going into our next round, round 2. Actually, this is looking like the semifinals. So we're moving in. Oh no, quarterfinals. All right, moving into our quarterfinals here.
Semis. 4 teams left. The final 4.
Yeah, the final 4, quarterfinals, semifinals. Who cares what it is? We're moving on to the next round. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's see here. We need the lower seed. So Nahum is gonna go against is going to go with Cosmo. All right, so matchup number 1, Nahum's team versus Cosmo's team, both that have names that I do not want to say repeatedly on the air. All right, so who is your vote? And please give us a detailed reason why your vote. It might not be just their fantasy team. It might be their personality. It might be their ideals. I don't know. What is your vote between Nahum and Cosmo?
Well, see, I allowed Cosmo to go by one round. By based on his looks alone, I think he's a really good-looking man, and just for that, I want to see him go further around. But his name is very offensive. Gook is. It's honestly one of the most offensive names you can come up with.
My name's offensive.
And
Okay.
meanwhile, someone having an opinion with the name Slave was a choice. That's all opinionated here, and I don't think. I personally don't think that name's as offensive as is the truth. So
No, I don't want your
Oh
win.
my.
I don't want your win. Take me out.
All right,
How much
who's
you
your
go?
vote?
slavery was a choice.
Oh, Nahum,
Thank you.
moving on to the finals. Has a possibility to be the president of the Sausage Bowl Fantasy League. All right, hit us with our next matchup, Cosmo.
All right, we got a good one here. Fight Milk climbed his way to the Final Four. He will be up against your goody old pal, Jimmy Garapos. Who you got,
Oh,
Akshay?
man. That's a tough one. As I repeatedly said last time, Jimmy Garoppolo hosts Aaron. Who did he vote for, Danny? Tell me, who did he vote for?
I do not know. I was not in the ballot room or whatever with them.
Oh, no. He voted for good old Sir Donald Trump. Last of his name. And who did Duncan vote for?
Uh, pretty sure. Pretty sure Duncan's all about that gay pride. So.
Yeah, see, I don't approve of any of that bullshit. I think that,
I
you know,
just want to say before we move forward, the Sausage Bowl podcast does not endorse what our guest says. I want to put that disclaimer out there.
I was about to say
the
that.
opinions,
I was about
the
to
opinions
say
of our
that.
guests are solely the opinion and do not represent the opinions of the
so-
Sausage Bowl
yeah,
podcast.
thank
Okay,
you,
Akshay.
thank you to my co-host Cosmo. Just to really enforce that and bring it home for anyone that is listening that is not part of our fantasy football league. The Sausage Bowl podcast does in no way, shape, or form support anything our guests say because they are on here as volunteers and we don't have any control over what they say. So we do not support them unless they say we're good looking. That is the only time we
I
support
do
them.
want to state that Danny did write me a check to come on the show, and the check was signed towards a non-LGBTQ group. So just putting that out there.
I will vehemently deny that. But anyway, so who is your vote between Duncan and Aaron?
you know, Aaron, you made bad decisions in life, and due to your bad decisions and voting for our good old president over here, I'm going to have to give you the boot. I'm going to have to give to Duncan here. I'm sorry, man.
All right, Aaron's moving out. This section or this segment's getting kind of cringy. All right, so Duncan moves on over Aaron.
What did we expect?
Did you expect- exactly.
Oh, I shouldn't have come up with this idea. All right, so Duncan takes it over Aaron. Aaron, anything that Akshay says to you, we are not supporting or, may or may not be our beliefs. So take your frustration out on Akshay. So, all right, anyway, final matchup here. We've got a classic. The two Titans, the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed. We've got Nahum against Duncan. So please, Akshay, go ahead and give us your reasonings behind each person. And then whenever you're ready to make your decision, tell me. I'll hit the music and announce your decision of who the president of the Sausage Bowl Fantasy League is going to be.
All right. Well, before I make a decision, I'm about to ask for you guys to help me out with this one here. Cosmo, while we were at a certain sports game a few months back, about a year ago now, there was a bet that was made. Do you mind explaining what happened during this bet?
From what I recall, there was a bet on a Dallas Mavericks game versus the Bulls. You bet on the Bulls, and someone else bet on the Mavericks for $5. The Bulls won.
All right.
That is my recollection.
Can you explain who did not pay me the $5?
I think you know that answer.
All right. Clear it up for the guests. I don't think most of the guests might know this answer.
All right, well,
For the
are
audience.
you ready for me to hit the music and announce your choice?
Yes, hit it up.
All right, so here we go. Let's see. Who is the 2018 president of the Sausage Bowl Fantasy League? Akshay, hit us with
It
it.
has to be Fight Milk.
Oh,
Has to be. He has a wedding coming up. He is studying law school. He is a smart, beautiful young man, and I think he is going to take this country to the right place.
Ooh, taking this country, the Sausage Bowl country. It is Duncan Fight Milk taking the presidential slot. Oh, voted on by Akshay, President Vladimir Putin, the only guy who would know best in this situation. We are not going to go against his word, although we don't support anything he said. Blah, 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 all that. You can read that. Okay, so there you go. Our president, 2018 president
What?
of the Sausage Bowl is Duncan Fight Milk. All right, take that to
That's
the
like
bank.
president.
What?
President of the Sausage Bowl. Does he get any kind of power in this league?
I do believe that for the rest of the season, you guys should refer to him as President Fight Milk.
That is very true. I think we should. So from now on, Duncan's team is known as President Fight Milk of the Sausage Bowl podcast. So, no, he does not get any commissioner privileges, and no, he does not get everyone's top player given to his team or anything like that. So, President Fight Milk, go ahead and let us know who your cabinet members are going to be. Just announce that to the group chat tomorrow. Let us know who your sweet cabinet members will be. So there you go. There you
Just
have
putting it out
it.
there, Duncan. $10 to be your Secretary of State. Oh. All right, continue.
Duncan, just let you know, blowjob, be your secretary of defense. Anyway, so that was our special Akshay segment, the election tournament of the 2018 Sausage Bowl Fantasy League. Thank you for tuning in for that. Hope you enjoyed it. But now we'll move right into our Week 4 matchup review, and we'll start with our new segment. So we're going to have a new segment called Keeping Up with Matt. We're going to check in with Matt Berry's love-hate players of each week. So you don't already have them up, do you, Cosmo? Or
I'm trying to
love-hate
find
2018.
it.
Let's see.
I think actually I just remembered that he quit doing his love-hate article.
Oh, no. Wait, like just because he released one last week, didn't he? Or
He like makes recommendations now, like on his show, but I don't think he has like the official love-hate article anymore. I think he got like I don't know. I think he said it was like too much work, believe it or not.
oh
So
my God.
that lazy
I
bum
pulled up.
is.
I know I pulled up the video of the week 1 love-hate player, and I'm looking at the comments, and all the comments so far is just do everything opposite he says and you're good. How the heck does someone become a fantasy expert like him? All this- So yeah, it's not looking good for him, but let's see if we can get his. Oh, all right. Week 1, he loved Jared Goff, and let's see who he hated. Oh, he's got a bunch of them. Okay, this might be a bad segment.
Idea. So going forward, I can I'll do the research. I can listen to his crappy podcast show, and I can give the highlights, and we can
Taking
can
one
go
for the
from
team.
there.
I don't want to listen to that because it always curses your team.
Be our
So
designated Matthew Berry correspondent.
yeah. All right. So let's just go ahead and do last week's. We won't go through all of them. So sorry for the shambliness of this segment. It is a new one. But all right, last week, Matthew Berry came out and said he absolutely hates Golden Tate and Cosmo. Who was his love last week?
He loved Sterling Shepard.
And he
I'm trying to
hated
figure out if he had
Golden
another
Tate.
one.
So let's see. What was Sterling Shepard's point total last week? About 18 points. And
Yeah.
what was Golden Tate? About 30 points. So not that great. And so that is 0-1 for Matthew Berry on week 4. And I remember on week 2, I think it was, his love was Adrian, or his hate was he loved Adrian Peterson and he hated someone else. And Adrian Peterson got Duncan 6 points right there in his starting lineup. Very helpful for Duncan. Still got the win, but yeah. So basically, this section was very shambly. We were not prepared for this. I apologize, but just the thing to take away from this is don't listen to Matthew Berry. Well, actually, if you're playing me, do listen to Matthew Berry. Please listen to anything he has to say, and do exactly what he has to say if you're playing me. So, all right, we'll go ahead and we'll push off that segment till next week when we're more prepared, not so shambly. That was a fail. All right, putting that in the past. Let's go over our week 4 matchup review. Okay, so week 4, it was a big week, a big scoring week. Let's see here. Number 1 matchup, we've got yours truly, Whip My Nips versus Curry Jizz. So, Cosmo, can you run us through this matchup?
Yeah, I will go ahead and let's get right into it. Let me just pull up my handy dandy Yahoo app right now. Shoot. I apologize for the technical difficulties. We're on a roll with these matchup preview segments right now. Okay, we got it. Okay, so going into it, presumed favorite. He came in with a projection of 122 points versus Rahi, who had 108. So they kind of predicted that this was going to happen. Obviously, the points were different. And ultimately, it did happen what they predicted. Danny blew out Rahi. He scored 150 points versus Rahi's 115. And Danny finally is that first win. He finally beats his battle with Destiny and takes down the Curry Slurpee here.
So Danny, what feels better, beating Rahi, the person who was 3-0 before last week, or getting a win?
I think they go hand in hand. I took down an undefeated person and I got my first win. And I was thinking about this, and I think I have the perfect analogy for how I feel with this first win. So I think we can all relate to it. So let me say this. So, you know how if you masturbate, feels good or whatever. But if you hold off and you wait a couple weeks to masturbate, like you just don't do it, you don't even think about it, you let that stuff build, you know what I'm saying? And you just let it build and build and build, and then when you finally just get down to stroking it and you just get that nice masturbation off, doesn't it just feel amazing when you finally get rid of all that stored up energy and you just let it go? Doesn't it feel amazing?
I wouldn't know.
I know what you mean, Danny.
All right, cool. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You wait a few days, you let it build up, and oh, it feels amazing. So that is what this felt like. I had a long time to wait, and boom, I just jizzed all over that curry jizz. You know what I'm saying? 150, just taking him out, exploding on him for my first win to go to 1-3. It was a long time coming. It was some dark weeks, but I'm finally in the win column, and I could easily lose this next week for some reason. So, I'll take this win. I'm happy with it. My team performed pretty well all over the place. Matt Ryan, 29 points, just staying nice in those flames. Julio Jones, 21 points, still has yet to get a touchdown, but just seems to eat up yards all over the place and get a lot of points. Stephon Diggs, a nice solid 18 points. Melvin Gordon has been very solid for me every single week so far, 25 points. James Conner crapping his pants with 5 points, but it didn't matter. Zach Ertz, a nice little fill-in for that hole I had at tight end, 16 points. Gio
You're
Bernard, I know he was just kind of a 1-2 week rental, but he filled in nicely and got me 24 points in my flex. So I'm very happy with that. Rahi still had, I saw he wasn't going to have Cam Newton, and I was like, oh, yes, he does not going to have Cam Newton. I have a chance. And then Andrew Luck got 33.66 points, so filled in nicely for him. Golden Tate was nice, but he just had, Will Fuller got injured, OJ Howard got injured, Jordan Howard didn't perform very well, Mike Evans didn't perform very well. So, still scored 115 points. Like that's still really huge. This week we had a lot of high scoring, so it wasn't up there in the rankings, but still a pretty good week from Rahi. But this week my team just went off, and there was nothing he could do. So feels good to be in the win column. But all right, moving on to our next one, we've got our very own Cosmo, the 5th seed, going against Fight Milk, the 2nd seed. Let's pull up this matchup right here. Cosmo had a projection of 110 points, and Duncan had a projection of 119 points. So a little bit of a 10-point spread. Duncan's been scoring highly every week, so favored in Duncan's side. But Cosmo outperforms his prediction by a long shot, scoring 133.58 points. And that was the third highest point total of the week, beating Duncan with 115.12, just slightly underperforming his projection. Uh, Cosmo, strong performance from Matt Stafford, Adam Thielen, Sterling Shepard, David Johnson, Sony Michel, and his kicker and defense came in for him very well with 14 points from the defense and 11 points from the kicker. Duncan, of course, had a great performance from Todd Gurley and Robert Woods, but everywhere else was kind of lackluster and was unable to pull out the win. Cosmo, how did you feel about this win?
This was a critical win for me. If I lost this, I was going to fall back into the dumps with Akshay and Taylor. No offense. So this was a do or die win. So I'm really glad to get this win, especially against a really good team like Duncan. I think a couple of takeaways from both teams. Duncan, I think, just got some bad luck here. Gronkowski left midway through the game with, I believe, an ankle injury. That obviously sucks when your star tight end gets outperformed by that bum Njoku, so that hurt for Duncan. And then he also caught a tough break where he had Chris Carson in his lineup. I think Chris Carson, from all the accounts that I saw, was going to play for week 4 and would have probably done good considering how Mike Davis did, who I think's not as good as Chris Carson. And so, like, he could have had a really great matchup. And then I think a weird sort of set of circumstances happened where Chris Carson got ruled out really late and he didn't have enough time to put James White in. So he had to settle with Royce Freeman and ended up just kind of in the worst case scenario there. So I think some bad injury lucks came for Duncan's team there. And then for my team, I got a good takeaway and a bad takeaway. The good one is I was really encouraged with Sony Michel with what he did. He's the top runner. Rex Burkhead is on injured reserve for the Patriots. He's the top guy right now. Ran for over 100 yards and a touchdown. A lot of offers for Sony Michel right now, and I'm not lowballing him right now. I think he's a legitimate RB2 right now. He's going to get all the volume in the world, and so I love him. And then, Danny, can I go on a rant for a second?
Dude, rant it up, bro.
Oh.
I got to talk about this freaking pussy.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You want me to hit you with the breaking news rant? All right, hit us with it, Cosmo.
That Leonard Fournette has been the biggest bust out of every single player in fantasy, and that includes Le'Veon Bell.
What about David Henry?
At least Derrick Henry is getting some sort of points. Leonard Fournette.
Wait, I thought Akshay said David Canterbury. I was like, who the heck? All right, anyway, yeah.
Like some punter or something. But yeah, at least Le'Veon Bell, he's missed all this time. He's probably going to come back around the same time as Fournette. At least we've known he's going to be out. And at least, Rahi was able to plan around that and, put someone else instead of Le'Veon Bell. He's been able to make counter plans because of that bum Le'Veon Bell has announced that he's missing time. But Fournette, this dude, literally, not once, but twice, I put him in my lineup, all excited to play him. Freaking first quarter. I mean, he's dropped 4 points and 5 points. Not only has he not played the 2 games he's played, he's actively destroyed my team. And luckily the rest of my team did good this week. But God, this guy freaking is made of paper or something. I think he's been the biggest bust so far, and that's on me, I guess, for picking a guy like him. There were warning signs coming into the season, but hopefully, I honestly don't know if I can trust this guy. That's why I picked up TJ Yeldon. But sorry, that was my rant. Leonard Fournette, you better make this up to me in the playoffs. But
yeah, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see who's the bigger bust of the season, Leonard Fournette or Derrick Henry. So we've been ripping Akshay for this Derrick Henry in the 3rd round pick, but it might get to the point where we are talking about the Leonard Fournette in the 2nd round pick. So
Duncan, Danny, my bad. Danny, who has gotten more points so far, Fournette or Henry?
Let's see.
That'd be Henry. I know that off the top of my head.
I want both
Wowzer.
of you. I want both of you guys to apologize to me right now.
I'm not
For what?
apologizing.
It was still a sucky pick.
We were still
It was
right.
still a garbage
Yes.
pick.
You're
He
more than
wasn't-
welcome to roast my pick, but I'm not
Derek
He
taking
wasn't the
our
worst
insult
pick.
of
He
yours.
was not the worst pick.
Derrick Henry has not scored more than like 6 points. A starting running back in the NFL has not scored more than 6 points. He's got like under 0.6 yards per carry. All right, we're not gonna talk about that. But
All right. Let's,
yeah,
let's move on. Let's
so
move on.
yeah, it's funny, Cosmo, how we were like talking about the draft review, and you were like, "Yes, I just wanted to leave this draft with 2 solid running backs to have a solid core to my team." So I picked up David Johnson and Leonard Fournette, and now you're 5 weeks into the season, and David Johnson's underperforming, and Leonard Fournette has yet to play more than a quarter in a game. So uh, some bad luck there. We'll have to see if David Johnson can start. Oh no, you're losing David Johnson. Well, we'll have to see if Kamara can help you seize up that
Oh,
running
you
back
know he
position.
will.
But
He will.
We'll get into that when we go in our transactions. But let's
yeah.
go ahead and move on, and let's look at our next choice. We have Nahum. Slavery was not a choice. That's what I'm gonna say here. And
that's what I'm gonna say from now on.
and Jimmy Garoppolo's, and this was projected to be a blowout. I think we all were like pretty on board with Nahum winning this. I think we thought he was gonna, railroad. The projections were 123.8 points for Nahum and 98 points for Aaron. And, while Nahum did end up pulling it off, this was like one of the closest games, probably the only other one being yours in Aaron's matchup from week 2. But yeah, it was close. Nahum squeaked out the victory with 103.78 points. Followed with Aaron's 103.66 points. So a 0.12 difference there gave Nahum the edge and solidified himself at the top. Danny, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, I think it's very surprising. Wait, is this my surprise of the week? Okay, no. Okay, it is very surprising of how low Nahum scored this week compared to his previous weeks. I mean, he scored like 140 points last week, like 130 the week before, like 115 or something the week before that. So he's been just dominating people, and this time he just barely squeaked it out. You can see Drew Brees, who normally scoring very high for Nahum, only got 8.5 points. So, and Michael Thomas, who normally scores very high as well, just got 6 points. So his team kind of underwhelmed this week. His kicker tried to make up for it, but couldn't do that. So underperformed, but still got the win, of course, because that's just how Nahum rolls. But yeah, I feel bad for Aaron. He squeaked out that win against me by 0.1 points, and now he goes down by 0.1 points. So maybe that means I've got a win of 0.1 points in my future. So, but yeah, I think Aaron's team kind of performed kind of the way we expected. Like Pat Mahomes, we all expected him to come back down to earth a little bit, and he's still a very good week, but not as crazy week as usual. Antonio Brown still kind of underperforming. Is it that Madden curse? What's going on? I don't know. He's just not performing as well as we thought he would this year. Ty Montgomery and Dalvin Cook, his running backs, not a very strong core. And even though a better performance from Trey Burton, not enough. Dan Bailey tried his best but couldn't do it. So Aaron comes away with the difficult loss, and Nahum moves on to 4-0.
That's a tough one
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. And some takeaways, just quick takeaways I had. I know I've been wrong a lot on this podcast, probably almost every 9 out of 10 predictions, but I think one thing that I can hang my hat on is Dalvin Cook. I mean, he's been up there with like Leonard Fournette and Derrick Henry. Probably not to as bad of an extent, but he's kind of been a bust. He's been injury prone. He hasn't produced a lot in the running game. Hasn't been so good this year, and I think that was one prediction I got right. I mean, he's still got time to get healthy and have a good season, but I think for now he has been a bust. And then I think one warning sign for Nahum on his side: Alex Collins made his 6th fumble since he's been a Raven, 2nd this year, both on the goal lines. And I don't think he's going to get goal line carries anymore. I think Buck Allen will be getting those goal line carries. I mean, how can you trust this guy anymore? The dude just cannot control the ball. So I would be a little bit concerned with Alex Collins there. But everything else, I think Breeze and Thomas will bounce back for him, and I think Nahum should be good still.
I don't get it. Like, you'd think if you fumble so much, you can just like, I mean, I haven't played football, so I mean like official football, so I wouldn't know like how hard it is to keep control of that ball. But I mean, you see other people, they fumble, their coaches get onto them, and they don't do it again. So I don't understand what's going on with Alex Collins. Like, it's just like he's got I think well actually I think I figured it out. I think before each game he has like this weird ritual, his like pregame rituals where he just like rubs himself in butter, I think, because he wants to be like slippery between the tackles and all that stuff. He like rubs himself in butter, but what he doesn't realize is that he has to hold the ball. And so when he's trying to squeeze the ball and get to the goal line, it pops out because
Well,
he's got that
well,
butter all over him. You know what I'm saying?
the game is called football, so people do get confused. So give him some props there.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Oh my
I don't understand.
Wait, explain that one, please.
Oh no, the game's called football, so he thought he had to play with his foot. He didn't realize his hands were being a major key point at this game.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Word.
Okay. Next matchup, we've got, speaking of Akshay and his cringiness, we've got President Vladimir Putin against anything but last, the 9th seed going against the 7th seed. Oh, these are the new seeds. All right, whatever. Akshay, President Vladimir Putin going against anything but last, and boy Cameron came to play this week. But they had a prediction of 112 versus 107, slightly favored with Cameron, but he outperformed it this week, scoring 133.28 points, and that was the 4th highest total of the week. So, very good week for Cameron. High scoring. Andy Dalton coming in hot with him. 25 points. DeAndre Hopkins finally performing the way we expected him to. T.Y. Hilton got enough points before leaving the game. Kareem Hunt is back in business. 25 points. And man, he had this, I don't know if you saw it, Cosmo or Akshay, but he had this great run where he just like trucked this guy and just took him another 2 yards or so without being sorry, my dog's spazzing out right now. But yeah, even though Lamar Miller and Demaryius Thomas stunk it up for him, the rest of his team did well enough. His kicker, 16 points, just to put him over the top. And looking over at Akshay's team, ouch. Russell Wilson, 8 points. Emmanuel Sanders, 8 points. Marvin Jones, 7 points. Jamal Williams, 2 points. Matt Prater, 6 points. Miami defense, 0 points. Keenan Allen, 9.8 points. Ouch. His top performers were Alvin Kamara, 38 points, and Eric Ebron, 12 points. So, Cosmo, what was your takeaway from this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of Akshay's side of the things, he had 2 players score plus 10 points, and that was Alvin Kamara, who's no longer on his team, and Eric Ebron. So he's going to hopefully hope that these trades pull him through. I'm sure we'll get into that later. And then on Cameron, man, Cameron can't catch a break with these injuries, man. Like he loses Delaney Walker for the season. He picks up Will Dissly. Will Dissly gets hurt. Picks up Tyler Eifert. And now Tyler Eifert broke his ankle.
Oh my God, Cameron! Stop picking up tight ends, dude. You're gonna freaking.
And it gets worse. He trades. He makes a big trade with me last week. Picks up T.Y. Hilton. I think a good pickup, and I think I was wrong on some points about T.Y. Hilton. I'll get into that later. But man, like, you know, at the end of the game, he pulls his hamstring, and now he's going to be out for a game. So, like, I mean, Cameron really cannot catch a break with these injuries, and I think it's respectable that, I mean, he's in 7th place right now because his players are dropping like flies, and that sucks.
You got to give Cameron team props. Even though they're getting injured, they're still pulling way above what they should for being injured early on in the games. 13 points for T.Y. Hilton. That's pretty damn respectable right there.
Yeah, at least he got a good amount of points before getting out. But yeah, Cameron, do you realize how much of a jerk you're being to these tight ends? Can you please stop ruining their season? Like, you might as well just not pick up a tight end at all. I think this next week. Hold on. When do you play me? Week 5. Okay, whatever week you play me, do not pick up a tight end. Please save that tight end season. Just don't even play a tight end at all when you play me. I don't know what week that is. Look it up. Don't pick a tight up. So yeah, just please stop being so rude to these tight ends and just stop picking them up because every single one you've picked up so far has had a season-ending injury. So
Well,
Watch out, CJ Uzama.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. CJ Uzuma, man.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
CJ, can we get an
You
alert out to CJ? Tell him like call in sick.
call in
Do
sick for the
not
game.
play this week. I mean, maybe that wouldn't even help. Maybe he'd like get in a car accident or something. I don't know. Like he just I think there needs to be some sort of alert out and whoever Cameron picks up just needs to, I don't know, go hide underground for a few days or something. But Akshay, how did it feel to take this fat L?
You know, I don't understand. Every time I put in Cousins, he doesn't do as good as he is known for. 10 points for last week when I had him on my team. On my This week I decided to switch him out for Wilson after listening to you in the podcast last week. So I do put a little blame on you, Danny. But but
Oh shoot, I
you
forgot about that.
you mentioned why does he have Cousins on? He should be putting Wilson. I just overthought that. I was like, Danny obviously knows more about football than I, so I'll follow his lead on here and I put Wilson, and he gave me beautiful 8.9 points versus Cousins 29 points.
You're
So
welcome,
thank you,
Cameron.
thank you. I just had bad looks with my quarterbacks. I seem to flip them on the off weeks each time. So I'm not gonna listen to anyone anymore. I'm gonna leave it as it is and see if that works out.
Yeah, that was my bad. Who would have
And
thought that
and
Kirk Cousins would perform like that against the Rams defense? But
yeah, no. And then in Miami defense, I need to figure out a stand like just to stick with one defense because I've been going defense hopping every week this season. So I need to stabilize sooner or later.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of what I'm kind of learning too. But all right, our final matchup, we've got our favorite contestants, Snack Attack, going against repeat offender Taylor versus Brandon in our final matchup. Cosmo, hit us with this matchup.
Yeah, so Brandon came in as the favorite. He had a projection of 114.29 points versus Taylor, who had a 110.5 points. And yeah, projections were pretty much right, aside from the score. Brandon got the victory with 134.22 points. And unfortunately, Taylor's probably his best week to date. With 109.34 was just not enough to beat Brandon. Brandon had a really good week, was the second highest score off the back of Zeke Elliott. There was nothing Taylor could do. Zeke just ate him up.
Yeah, I was watching that game when I was in the airport this weekend, and dude, Zeke was just eating. He was just getting, 8 yards after 8 yards, big long catch, touchdown, all this stuff. So Zeke finally, welcome to the 2018 season. Zeke has arrived, and Brandon's team is looking sharp once again. Taylor, as we spoke about earlier, just cannot catch a break with these start-sits decisions. So just constantly on the bench Ragrets. I'm sorry, Taylor, but Taylor moves to 0-4, 10th place. Just hit with a lot of bad luck, trying to see if he can rebound next week against me.
I just want
Maybe
to say,
get his
Taylor,
first win.
thank you for being 0-4. Otherwise, I might be fighting for that position right now. So just thank you.
Yep.
Hey,
Don't
there's still
forget.
9 more weeks.
There's 4 weeks. You never know. But yeah, my takeaway from this game, Brandon's team is looking as strong as expected. I know he had a couple down weeks there, but if Zeke can get popping, Brandon Cooks seems strong. Tyreek Hill, we've noticed that he just plays better. He has some like crazy home road split. It's like when he's on the road, he gets a ton of points. When he's at home, he doesn't. So this one was a little bit different than his norm, but I think that was mostly Patrick Mahomes going up against his first like real challenge in prime time. So, but Aaron Rodgers not looking that great so far this season, but the fact that Brandon's defense got 23 points and his kicker got 16 is enough to help him secure the win. And I think once Devonta Freeman comes back, and is healthy, and once Brandon finally plays John Brown after like 4 weeks of amazing performances, um, maybe his team will just start looking unstoppable. So,
And
Kenyon Drake.
let me ask you about Kenyon Drake. This is back-to-back weeks where he has put up 2 points. It's got to be time to have the alert signs up, right? This guy is just like underperforming. I mean, they're giving Frank Gore all the touches. I don't know why. Like, Kenyon Drake is a much superior player. I don't doubt his talent at all, but just for whatever reason, they don't like giving him the ball.
I mean, look at this. Like, there's just something they don't like about him because he got 14 carries the first week, 11 carries the second week, 5 the third week, and 3 this week. It's not even that he's underperforming. He's just not even getting on the field. Like, they don't even put him out on the field. So, big decision for Brandon there. Is he going to try to shop around Kenyon Drake? Is he just going to bench him and hope it gets back to the way it was? I don't know. But luckily, he's got John Brown on his bench that he can fit nicely into that flex position and probably still be okay. So, but yeah,
just bring it out there, Brandon. If you don't want John Brown, I'll gladly take him off your hands.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work that way, Akshay. So nice try, but yeah, Brandon's team's looking strong. Taylor just seems cursed as usual. Sorry, Taylor, but yep, big alert sign on Kenyon Drake. It's just shocking that they just don't even seem like they want to use him. Not sure why that is because he's a very explosive player. Must be some sort of internal thing going on there in the organization. But all right, that was our results from the week 4 matchup review. Let's go ahead and move into our biggest surprises of the week. So my surprise or biggest surprise of this week was just the super high scoring this year. I mean, I saw a bunch of stats this week that there were like 4 NFL records set for the number of touchdowns through 4 weeks, the number of passing yards through 4 weeks, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's just insane amount of scoring going on this year, and it's reflected in fantasy in the fact that it used to be if you scored over 110 points, like you know, more than not won your week. Like, there's a very solid chance that you won your week over 110 points. But nowadays, honestly, if you're not scoring like 125 to 130, you're probably gonna lose, and unless both teams are having a bad week or something like that. So that's just been my biggest surprise is the scoring difference. And I know half point per reception changed that a little bit, but I think this is just the NFL, all this scoring that's happening in the NFL. But yeah, that's what's crazy about these things is you know everyone's like you just can't relax at any position because if one position fails, you're probably going to lose that week. So that's my biggest surprise. Cosmo, what's your biggest surprise of the week?
I'm just going to run through real quick. I was really surprised by George Kittle, the tight end for the 49ers. I thought that once Jimmy Garoppolo went down with his injury, or I should say Jimmy Garoppolo, I thought that pretty much every single 49ers player was not going to be fantasy relevant anymore. Just really do not trust their new quarterback, CJ Beathard. But George Kittle had probably his best game of the season, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 125 yards and a touchdown. And I think this might be sustainable. Like, I don't think he's going to put up these like elite level numbers, but I think he might still be like a top 8 option going forward. I think a lot of times these inexperienced quarterbacks like to throw their tight ends as like a safety blanket, and I think Kittle is a good tight end, and I think he'll still be fantasy relevant.
Yeah, I think in this situation so far where the tight end landscape is just very scarce, I think Taylor can feel pretty secure with George Kittle. But yeah, I think he's a solid pick. He kind of pooped his pants the other week, cost Taylor a win, but I think Taylor can trust him going forward. It seems like with CJ Beathard. All right, those are our biggest surprises of the week. Now let's finish up our week 4 matchup review with where we went wrong. Cosmo, where did you go wrong last week?
Yeah, I was really wrong about Andrew Luck. A part of the big reason I made that trade to trade T.Y. Hilton to Cameron was because I didn't trust Andrew Luck. I didn't think he was fully back. He had like the second lowest yards per attempt out of every single quarterback. I just really didn't think his arm was ready. I mean, they took him out of the play when he was doing that Hail Mary. But fast forward to this week, he throws for like over 300 yards. He was making big plays. I think he had 2 like 40-yard or larger passes to T.Y. Hilton. He was throwing the ball deep. He looked fine. And so I think it was an overreaction by my part. And I think Andrew Luck is close to being back to what he was before his injury.
Yeah, he just needs to. I mean, if he can get it figured out, like he is a top, 10 quarterback. So I guess it's just taking time for them to figure it out. But yeah, he looked very strong this week and looks like a good, safe backup for Rahi with Cam Newton. Or maybe, you can try to trade him around. We'll have to see. But where I went wrong last week, I believe last week, my memory of it is kind of fuzzy because I was very tired last podcast. But uh, I believe I was talking about Cameron's team last week, and I was just kind of saying it's not looking good, downward slide. Things are just not going his way with injuries and all that stuff. Um, but I think actually, he got a little life to his team this week. Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt came out, played well, everything. So I think things are looking up for Cameron's team. He's definitely got some holes he needs to fill in, but I think the 2-2 record, anything but last, sitting nice and pretty in 7th place. I was very wrong last week on his downward slide. I think he's got a pretty good chance of continuing well throughout the season. But all right, that wraps up our week 4 matchup review with our keeping up with Matt. That was terrible. Our going over our results, our biggest surprises of the week, and then where we went wrong. So now, Cosmo, quickly throw us through the key transactions this week. Oh, actually, I guess we can't really quickly go through this because it's pretty spicy.
Oh God,
so
no.
There's some crazy stuff that went down
yeah,
this week.
yeah, you know what? Run us through the general stuff, and then we'll dig into this one. And we'll probably just have to either go long this podcast or kind of skim over the weekly previews. But this is the meat of the podcast right here.
I mean, there is some crazy stuff going down this week, and we'll get into the culprit behind all this mayhem. But I'll just run down the 3 big trades that were made this week. Duncan traded Adrian Peterson to Akshay for Keenan Allen. Taylor traded Doug Baldwin to Danny for Jordy Nelson and Kenny Stills. And then finally, Akshay made a big move, traded Alvin Kamara to myself for David Johnson, Sterling Shepard, and Chris Thompson. And I guess before me and Danny give our quick overviews of what we thought about this trade, Akshay made most of these trades. You probably created the biggest mayhem we've ever seen in Sausage Bowl history with a couple of your trades and a couple of trades that didn't go through. Explain what you did this week and set the record straight.
So, Duncan and I actually had a trade agreement going on before the week started, about I think Thursday of last week, where he was interested in Allen for Adrian Peterson, and after some thinking about that, I decided to go through with the trade. So Monday we opened up with that trade. The moment the week ended, that trade, I just needed more running backs, and Keenan Allen wasn't doing much for me at this point. He was giving me points, but not where I needed it to be. And at this point, I needed more running backs because I knew for a fact I was getting ready to trade up Kamara. So I was able to get Adrian Peterson in that grab.
Okay, so on that trade,
Mhm.
I know Keenan Allen has been underperforming a little bit, but did it not concern you at all that Adrian Peterson is kind of very boom or bust, and he's getting up there in age? And I mean, Keenan Allen coming into the draft was considered like a tier 2 wide receiver up there with like Michael Thomas and Julio Jones. So what was your reasoning behind picking Adrian Peterson over Keenan Allen?
Well, you're right. He is getting old, and he is very injured prone for the most part. But he also is pretty damn consistent. Since looking at last year's stats, this year's stats, he has been consistent all around. Whereas Keenan Allen, as he has been underperforming for the last couple of weeks, he has been giving me just under 10 points or so. He only went off the first week. He hasn't been proving anything to me, and he's just been sitting there. At this point, I need players that are going to go off. Who's going to be a boom.
Cosmo, what do you think of this trade?
Yeah, I can understand from the perspective like you really needed a running back, and I actually think Adrian Peterson's going to be pretty good this year. Like assuming he stays healthy, he's getting a crap ton of volume. I mean, they're feeding him the ball. They have no one else to run the ball there in Washington. Like Samaje Perine, he sucks. Rob Kelly, I think he's hurt. Chris Thompson's best suited as a pass catching. So I think Peterson's like a solid running back too for your team. But yeah, I have to agree with Danny. I think Keenan Allen. I think he did this last year too. He started off really slow, and then like towards the end, he really picked up and was like the top player, the top wide receiver the last 8 games. But I don't know. You might be onto something. Maybe Keenan Allen just doesn't have it this year.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe this doesn't work out so well for Duncan. But all right, continue with your story of the week, Akshay.
All right. So what was it? Was it Tuesday, Danny? Was this Tuesday night?
No, I think it was Monday night.
Was it Monday night? All right. So right after the interesting trade between Duncan and I, Danny and I decided to message each other back and forth, and he was asking for the one and only Kamara, which was quite an interesting trade from him. You want to tell everyone who you originally offered to trade for?
So, all right. So I'm sitting here and I think who all right. So, oh yeah, okay. So this is how it goes. This is how it goes, right? So I'm sitting there, I get the notification that Lev Bell is planning to come back week 7 and I'm like, "Ah, crap. I wasn't able to move James Conner before this came out. Now he's worthless." And I thought to myself, I don't know if anyone else is paying attention to these notifications right now. So let me see if I can get them off real quick. So I immediately text Rahi and I say, "Hey, you getting tired of waiting on Lev Bell? Like you want to trade James Conner for Lev Bell?" And just hoping he hasn't seen it yet. And of course, Rahi, as slow at poke as he is, takes like 3 hours to reply to that message. And by that point, the notification reached Yahoo and he saw it and he said, "No way." So I said, "You know what? I'll keep trying." So I hit up Akshay and I say, "Hey, you want James Conner? What did I say? I think I said like James Conner, Aaron Jones, and what you might call it for? No, I don't remember what I said, but it was something else. And so I offered you that for Kamara, and you said no, but then you countered with James Conner, Aaron Jones, and Jordy Nelson. And so I was like, shoot, okay, I don't know if he's paying attention to this stuff or not, but hey, he sent me the offer. I'm gonna hit accept. So I hit accept, and I was like, oh man, you know what? This is probably gonna get vetoed anyway. But I was like, shoot, he gave me the offer. I'm gonna hit accept. I don't mind. And Akshay was like, it's a risky move, but I really want Aaron Jones. I'm like, okay, you do you, dude. So I was like, I'll hit accept, and then immediately, Nahum and Rahi just go on this witch hunt in the group chat, and
So before we bring up the witch hunt, let me explain to you. And it was a very risky move on my point, and I somewhat told Cosmo what I was doing, but I was never planning, Danny, to go with this trade with you. I was fishing out Kamara out there so everyone could bid on him.
What?
I somewhat told you this, Cosmo, when I was texting you early yesterday, but basically I made this trade and I knew it wasn't going to go through, especially after Nahum.
I guess I missed that.
Okay, so you didn't read that properly. Okay, or I didn't explain it properly. But regardless, I was messaging Nahum, and he basically gave me a trade, and I kind of insisted on, hey, might as well veto that trade offer, and I can hit up with you.
what?
So,
Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry, Danny.
Oh my God! So Nahum, his whole witch hunt thing was fake because he just wanted to trade with you.
Exactly.
What
So,
the? I got used by Akshay. Oh my God! I thought I was on the winning
no,
end of this. What the heck?
no. So I was never really going to trade with you. I was going to gather the troops and veto that.
Oh
So
my God!
basically, what I managed to get was a good
Oh my
majority.
God! I got schooled, dude.
I got a good majority of people hitting me up with
What?
offers when they saw that Kamara was on the
Oh
chopping block
my
on my team.
God!
I do apologize,
What?
Danny.
Holy crap! Cosmo, are you believing this? Literally, I thought Akshay was clueless as what the heck, dude? He was masterminding the whole thing.
Okay, I guess I misread your text. So you sent the trade with the idea that it was going to be vetoed.
Yes.
Wait, so you sent the trade knowing that it would entice other people into it, and you tell them to veto it.
Kamara is
I'm trying
a
to understand this.
Kamara is a
No,
juicy
Cosmo,
pick,
what he's saying is
and
he did the trade with me. He knew it was a
uh,
disadvantaged trade, like that he was not getting very good value back for Kamara, and that he was making my team like a super team basically. But he was doing it because he knew it would, or he's claiming he knew it would infuriate other people, and then it would make them realize that he
so
was had Kamara on the chopping block, and they would make trade offers to him.
so it was very risky. If nobody reacted to our trade, I would have been screwed over, and my long con would not have worked out. But
What the?
literally,
Oh
ten
my
minutes
God,
after
you're making this
10
up
minutes.
right now.
I swear, I am.
What the? Oh my God, I can't believe this, dude. I did not
So
expect this segment to go this way. Holy
no,
crap.
I was holding this in my back pocket. I wasn't going to say anything just in case I decided to do another risky move as such, but I decided to come out and just let it go.
What?
But
Oh my God. What the heck? Oh my God. Okay, well, let me explain this from my perspective then, just to add to this story a little bit. So I'm sitting there, he sends me this trade offer, and I'm like, okay, like I'll be honest, I was like, I know this is a super lopsided trade and I'm getting a huge deal here. Like, but he sent me the offer, so I'm gonna accept it, which I know anyone else in this league would do. So I mean, I did feel bad about it. I was like, man, my team's gonna be kind of stacked, but whatever. So I hit accept, and then immediately Rahi and Nahum just start flaming the whole group chat. They're like, get this thing vetoed. I want my money back if it doesn't work. I was like, shoot, these guys are like super passionate about this, but whatever. So it gets vetoed like an hour later. Trade gets vetoed. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It was kind of lopsided anyway. I'll be okay. So then I'm sitting there, sitting at work the next day. I'm sitting at work the next day, and all of a sudden, I get a text from Cosmo, and he's like, "Hey, Akshay is trying to shop around Kamara, and he's trying to hit up my team. Like, you think I got anything I could offer for Kamara? Like, what do you think's a fair deal? You know, just trying to get a second opinion on his stuff." So I'm helping him out, and then all of a sudden he texts me and goes, I guess like Nahum texted him for some advice or whatever. So then we find out that Akshay is having a bidding war on Kamara. Akshay is literally texting several people at different times, trying to get different offers from each person to. Oh my God, you totally just you. Oh my God, let me explain this. So literally, um, literally, I mean, I'm gonna reveal some things to Rahi and Nahum that might not make them happy. But so basically, I find out that there's a bidding war going on for Kamara now. Now that that whole trade got vetoed with mine, there's like a bidding war. And so Cosmo's like, oh shoot, Rahi and Nahum are in on this bidding war trying to get Kamara. And so I'm like, wait a second. The two guys that did like a witch hunt against me to get my thing vetoed
hmm
are now going after Kamara. I was like, I know there's something fishy with that. And I know they're probably not giving him the best offer. So I just am super ticked about this whole thing because I'm like, wait a second, you come out, you scumbags come out and wreck my trade offer just so that you can swoop in and get a trade, which is very smart, by the way. But you left out one fact, you left out one little tiny detail in your smart plan. You left
what's
out
that?
me. No, not you. Nahum and
Oh,
Rahi left out one little thing in their plan. You left out me feeling salty. That's what you did. So I find out there's a bidding war with these two scumbags going on, and so I was like, you know what? Some I will admit sometimes in the past I might have gotten a trade over on Akshay or whatever in the past because he might not do as much research as me or whatever. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna make sure he gets a fair deal. So I texted Akshay and I said, you know what? Hit me up with every single trade offer you're getting for Kamara. I'll make sure you get a good one. And so, because I was ticked at Nahum and Rai, so I was like, these fools are not about to pull one over on Akshay. So then I find out that Nahum gave Akshay an offer that included Des Bryant. Des Bryant for Kamara in his trade offer. I'm like, bro, you hating on me for James Conner, Aaron Jones, all this stuff.
uh,
So then,
before you go that far, let me read word for word what I texted Cosmo. So I guess reading it again, I guess I didn't explain myself properly, but basically I said I helped with the veto. I was playing Danny, never was going to go with the deal. I was opening up the floodgates so everyone will play ball.
oh my God. But it did even more for Akshay because I was so ticked at Rahi and Nahum.
That came out of that came out of the yeah, I was not expecting Danny to come out of nowhere and start helping me out with these trade
I
deals.
was I was
I'm very
like I was
appreciative.
so salty at Nahum and Rahi there that I was like, tell me whatever they offer you and I'll just let you know if I think it's a I'll give you all the details on the trade. Like I think I just gave you a recommendation. It wasn't that I was like flat out don't trade with
No, no.
Nahum, don't trade with Rahi, but I just said like, okay, well, here's the upside on this guy, here's the downside on this guy, like here's what he's probably worth or whatever. And so I'm helping out Akshay. Like meanwhile, I'm at work. Luckily my boss wasn't there. I'm just texting the whole day. But yeah, so I'm helping out Akshay freaking make this trade, and so I helped him to finally decide on his final decision with Cosmo of getting David Johnson, Chris Thompson, and Sterling Shepard for Kamara. Uh, but now I realize, so I was the guy you played, and I helped you make your deal. So, oh
That
my
just was the
God.
icing on the cake. So going back to Monday night, Nahum hit me up and just
Oh my
said,
God.
Nahum just hit me up and said, "Hey, I have a better trade before you finalize that trade with Kamar."
Oh my
So I
God. No,
said,
he didn't. What is? Oh my God,
so I
Nahum.
said, hit me up. So we went through a couple of trades, blah blah blah, and then he finally said, um, finally we met in a census, and he's like, "All right, sounds good. I'm gonna veto that trade." And I'm like, "Sounds good. Try
Oh
getting other people
my
involved." Basically,
God. Oh
he just
my
said, and we were
God.
like, we had to get everyone to veto against it. So
Oh, are you? Oh my God, dude! This freaking league, bro.
I'm sorry,
Oh
man.
my
I
God.
had to play with my
Playing
cards.
the
I had
game.
to play with my cards. I was down in points. I had to do something. So I'm sorry,
Oh
Dandy.
my God. Nahum freaking sliding into the DM saying, I got a better trade for you. And Vito, I should have known. I've never seen Nahum so passionate about something like
No,
this. I should have
no.
known there was something fishy behind this with Nahum.
So
Oh my God.
that's why when we were texting and you said, "Damn, they vetoed it," I was like, "Well, no shit."
Oh, what the
Just
freak?
on
Oh
top of
my
that,
God.
on top of
Is
that, I
this
was
collusion? Is this
on
you
top
got people to
Some
group up against
on
me
top of that,
and
I was
veto?
talking while he was pissed at the trade, rightfully so. So I messaged him. I'm like, "Well, you know what? Let me know. What do you have in mind?"
Oh my God. Are you
So
kidding me?
never once did I initiate them to veto, but I urged them into the direction of doing so.
Oh my God.
I knew the moment they saw Kamara was worth a trade, like I was willing to get rid of him for something in return. And I made it seem like I didn't want much in return, giving Connor, I was getting Connor in the trade, someone who might not be relevant next couple of weeks. So it pushed a lot of people to come forward. I had Cosmo even jumped in on that. I had Rahi on
What?
that. I had you still trying to make a bet on
There's
it right now.
no way. There's no way you thought about all. Oh my
Oh
God.
no,
What the
no.
heck? Well, I'm glad I pulled my final offer then,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
oh my God.
It
What
was a
the
very
heck?
it was a very risky trade. If no one was paying attention to their fantasy football alerts for the next couple of days, I would have been screwed out of luck. Luckily, I was able to get some.
Oh my God. So literally this trade could have gone through and I could have
It
had
it
Kamara,
could have gone through,
Gordon,
and
Diggs, and Julio Jones on my team, and Zach Ertz. I could have had all this on my team, but you freaking with Nahum and Rahi got people to veto my Oh my God, dude. I don't even know how many
so
people it takes to veto a trade, but you had at least two, and I'm sure they text other people and
oh,
got
and
them to veto.
I went and invaded it myself.
Oh my god.
What?
This
What?
is
This has to be wrong, dude. I'm glad Cosmo ended up with Kamara, dude, because if freaking Nahum or Rahi after all
Yeah.
this collusion had ended up with them, oh my God. I can't
So
believe it. I'm shocked, dude.
I
there's a
basically
lot of
opened.
fishy stuff that went down.
Oh
There,
yeah.
this was
I
What?
basically opened up a whole trading war zone going
Oh
on
my.
here. And
Okay, so for anyone that is just having trouble following along, let's summarize real quick. So basically, Akshay came to me with a trade offer that honestly I thought just came down from the heavens. I was like, there's no way someone wants to make this trade, but I'm just going to hit accept because, whatever. So I hit accept. But it turns out Akshay did this deal because he knew it was so lopsided that other people would get in, or he claims that he knew that other people would get in. Little here comes Nahum. Oh, I've got a better deal when he really doesn't, offering Des Bryant, little freaking dick face. But coming in trying to sue. So then they collude against me, veto the trade. Akshay vetoes it himself to get the trade veto. So Rahi, Nahum, and Akshay veto the trade. It gets vetoed. Then Akshay creates a bidding war between the people that he used to help collude against me, and then in return, because of my saltiness, I help him make the trade with Cosmo. So, oh my God, I guess
I
some
never,
mastermind work
I,
by Akshay. I
I
never
never
would have.
expected Danny to come out of nowhere and say, "Hey, you know what? Because of what happened, let me help you out." That that was a blessing in disguise for my
Bro,
part,
what
and
the? Well, I mean, oh my God, at least you got a fair deal for Chimera. I don't. I feel like, oh my
I I
God.
do I do apologize, Danny. I had to do something. I was literally I'm second to last place on the verge of being last. So
Oh my God, there's no way this is real. I feel like you're making whatever. All right,
I'm not.
mastermind.
This is some next level crap right now.
Oh
And
my God.
and you
All
can look
right.
at Cosmo's text messages. I did tell him that mid to the beginning of the trade war on Tuesday. So I'm not lying when I say this. It happened.
Yes,
Jeez,
it was.
that's
Yeah, I don't know. This is.
are
Akshay.
are you
No one can
speechless?
deny that you keep this league interesting. I'll
I
say
try to,
Oh
man.
my
that.
dude, you are the controversial man. Oh my God, I can't even believe. Holy crap, I can't believe that. Okay, so basically I got worked this week, and that's good to know for the future. But at least Cosmo ended up with Chimera, and it was a fair deal. And the little colluders did not end up with Chimera, so let it be known that I have my sights set on Rahi and Nahum. Uh,
Personally, I was
freaking
really hoping Brandon would get up on that deal because Brandon had the players I really wanted. I was looking at Brandon or Nahum. Nahum was just being too afraid to make an offer worth my time. I was really, I was really, I was
There's gonna
really.
be some rivalries after
Oh
this
my
game,
Oh,
God,
man.
dude.
see, there's a reason why I didn't want to say anything, but also I realized I had to say something. Otherwise, I look like I'm an idiot playing this league. I'm not. So I've mentioned this before. I do not know many of the players. I don't know many of
Oh my God, dude.
I don't know many of the behind the scenes that goes on in the leagues, but I do know points, and I
President
do know
Vladimir Putin, dude, coming in with the
just like
mastermind play of the
just
week.
just like Vladimir Putin orchestrated the whole 2016 election, I orchestrated the whole Kamara deal.
Oh my God, the Kamara sweepstakes with a bunch of collusion behind it. Whatever. Oh my God. I'm not even like mad at anyone. I'm just like I thought we were gonna come on here and just like freaking like rip Akshay, and little did I know I was the one getting ripped. Wow.
Hey, you
That
Dang.
was
know,
shocking. Oh my God, I'm speechless. I can't even. Oh my God. Freaking props to Nahum though for sliding into your DMs and being
yeah,
like, "Hey, veto
because
that.
of
I got a better trade."
because if Nahum didn't slide into mine, I was going to have to message. I was going to have to be the initiator, and that would have looked fishier. So luckily, Nahum and Rahi both hit me up a good hour into the trade deal that was only sent through. So since they were able to do it, I was able to build off of their original pissed offness.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I was like,
Because
I was so salty. I was like, "Are you kidding me? These guys made a witch hunt to veto my trade, and now they're trying to swoop in and get Kamara. Like, there's no
I'm
way
not even
out."
lying. I was midway of sending Brandon a message asking if he wanted Kamara instead of doing the trade that I had going on, and that's the moment I got a message from Nahum. So I deleted my message with Brandon and decided to keep playing with Nahum for a minute before
Oh God.
I, I,
Oh my God,
I'm not
dude.
lying. I wish I could say I'm not, but
Oh, that is.
That was
I'd.
a
I had to play dirty. I had to play dirty to get what I.
um. Yeah, I got no words there.
Yeah, I don't even
Let's.
know what to say, dude.
Yeah.
Side note, Taylor and I are trading Doug Baldwin for Jordy Nelson and Kenny Stills. I think it's a pretty fair trade with the equal amount of risk on either side. You don't know if Jordy Nelson's going to keep performing the way he did. Stills is a boomer bust guy, and Doug Baldwin has a lot of knee problems. So, but it could work out for both of us. He could have two good wide receivers, and I could have a nice top wide receiver if Doug Baldwin returns to form. So there you have it. Those are our key transactions of the week. The mastermind behind the Alvin Kamara sweepstakes, Akshay, President Vladimir Putin. Who would have thought? Akshay has made a turn in this fantasy league, and he is trying to show he is a force to be reckoned with. Uh, speechless, just absolutely speechless. So let's go ahead and move into our Week 5 preview. Man, I'm just shook.
Lightning round.
I know, yeah. I'm just like shook right now. All right, league. What am I clicking on league? All right, week 5 matchups. Let's do this real quick. Whip My Nips versus Snack Attack. We've got the number 8 seed going against the 10th seed. What sticks out to you in this matchup, Cosmo?
Yeah, really quickly, I think this actually might be tougher than it might look because Taylor's 0-4. He might not seem like the toughest competition, but I still think Taylor's team is pretty okay. Like, I don't think his team is bad, but until I see that first win, I just can't really bet on him. I'm going for Danny this round.
Ooh, all right.
You mind
Akshay,
if-
what do you think of this
Yeah,
matchup?
you mind if I put more salt in the wound here?
Sure.
If you, Danny, actually had Kamara for this week, you would have wiped him out of the game for sure. But since you don't,
Oh my God.
okay, no, that was wrong. I'm sorry, that was wrong. But I do have to go with Taylor on this one. I do think he's been holding back, and I do think this is his week to actually shine. Just like you had your week last week, Danny, I think it's time for Taylor to shine.
I do like his pickup of Naeem Hines. I think he's going to be a big factor in this game tomorrow night. He's showing more and more each week, and Andrew Luck's trusting him, especially with Ty out. And the Patriots are susceptible to running backs that can catch the ball. So I'm kind of worried for that one. Marshawn Lynch is always really good. Barkley, I'm kind of taking a risk this week playing Carolina defense while he has Barkley on his team, because if Barkley scores, his points are going to go up and my points are going to go down. So it's not going to be favorable, but I like Carolina, so I'm playing them this week. But we'll have to see. I need to pick up a kicker once my trade with Taylor goes through. But yeah, we'll see if Taylor can grab his first win against me this next week. So our next matchup, our very own Cosmo, the 5th seed, going against Curry Jizz Rahi, the 3rd seed. So Rahi took his first L last week. Cosmo moved into 2-2 to take 5th place, quickly moving up that ladder. Cosmo here's got Matt Stafford, Adam Thielen, Corey Davis. He's trusting this week. David Johnson, or he's not going to have David Johnson. I'm sorry, the trade has not gone through yet. He's going to have Kamara. Kamara's just going to, has the potential to blow up, but Mark Ingram's coming back. Is he going to do as well? We'll have to see. Joe Mixon comes back this week. On the other side, Rahi. Cam Newton is back from the bye week. He's got Golden Tate, who's been really good so far. Philip Lindsay, Austin Eckler. His running backs are looking a little shaky. He's got some. I mean, Philip Lindsay and Austin Eckler as your 2 main running backs. Like, that's not a. It's kind of shaky ground to stand on, isn't it, Cosmo?
Yeah, I think I caught Rahi at the right time. He has like a lot of his players on buys. I think Jordan Howard and Mike Evans have a buy. So he's got some really tough luck here. So I think that's why he's in this situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Cosmo on this one. I think Rahi's gonna take his 2nd straight loss here, but I think he just was caught at bad times, like you said. I mean, I caught him when Cam Newton was out last week. This week he's got his main running back down, his main wide receiver down. He's having to trust Austin Eckler and Philip Lindsay. So, and Cosmo's team's looking very strong for this week, and Kamara. He's gonna have Kamara as super stud. So I think Cosmo's going to move to 3-2, and Rahi's going to drop to 3-2 on this one.
See,
Akshay, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a very close game. Cosmo is losing a couple of his good players in the deal here, but he is picking up a superstar Kamara. So I do think that losing the players that he is losing will bring him about equal to where Rahi is on the predicted points, but bringing Kamara in will keep him around where he's at right now, about 115 is where I'm thinking his original points will rise up to. So I do think that it still has the potential to be a very close match. I'm not going to put it in either favor, but I do think Rahi has the potential to shine this week.
All right, moving into our next, we have Slavery Was Not a Choice, Nahum versus Fight Milk Duncan. We've got the 4-0 Nahum going against the 3-1 Fight Milk number 1 seed versus number 2 seed, a matchup of the Titans. Duncan is favored with 121 points against Nahum's 114. It looks like Nahum's got Phillip Rivers this week, Odell Beckham, Michael Thomas, Alex Collins, Carlos Hyde, Kelsey Ridley. Duncan's playing Jared Goff this week. Devontae Adams a little banged up, but Duncan's still trusting him. Smith-Schuster, Todd Gurley as always, James White, Gronkowski, Robert Woods. It's going to be a tight matchup. I think I am going to. Uh, Man, I don't. It's hard to tell. I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how the New Orleans team performs when Mark Ingram's back. Are they gonna get back to what they were last year, where it was mostly run and not so much pass? Is Michael Thomas gonna fade a little bit? Um, is Alex Collins gonna be trusted again? And is Carlos Hyde? I mean, Baltimore's been a tough running matchup, so I'm gonna say Duncan takes down Nahum here, gives him his first L, and they both go to 4-1. Cosmo, what say you?
I think I have to agree. Nahum's had a good run here. I think his team is still really good, but I think Duncan might have it. I just don't trust Alex Collins. Travis Kelce, one of his best players, is going against Jacksonville, which is not great. And I think Duncan's team is just really good. Obviously he has Gurley, Goff, Juju, and Devontae Adams and Gronk that are always going to do good for him. But I think James White's going to have a field day against Indianapolis. Tennessee might be the juiciest defensive matchup going against Josh Allen in Buffalo. Tennessee has one of the best pass rush defenses, and Buffalo has one of the worst O-lines. Josh Allen is going to get sacked who knows how many times in this game, so I'm going to go with Duncan.
All right, Akshay, what do you think?
Probably going to go with Cosmo on this one. I think Duncan has it. I did crown him the president of the league for a reason, and I do
Ooh,
think he will
yes.
carry the title.
Very good point. You did choose Duncan for the president over Nahum, so maybe that was foreshadowing that matchup. Moving into our next matchup. Ooh, we've got our guest. Oh, I forgot. You know what? We're going to move over this matchup real quick. We're going to look at the other one quickly. We've got repeat offender versus anything but last Cameron. The 4th seed Brandon versus the 7th seed Cameron. Cameron's team's been on fire lately. Brandon's team's been on getting back to form. Quickly, Cosmo, just who do you think is going to win on this one?
I'm going to go with Brandon on this one.
Yeah, I think Brandon has been returning to form. Devonta Freeman coming back against Pittsburgh. Zeke against Houston. Brandon Cooks, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is probably going to struggle a little bit, but I think the rest of his team, he's finally trusting John Brown, so I think he's going to do pretty well. I think Cameron's team's going to take a slight hit. I think both teams will perform pretty well, but Brandon will edge out the win here and send Cameron to 2-3. Akshay, who's your quick pick?
You know what? I do like my underdogs, so I'm going to go with Cameron on this one. Just because he beat me, I'm hoping that it wasn't a fluke. I'm hoping he shows the people that he's worth it. He's worth the time.
I guess the real question of the week will be how many points does Uzomah score before breaking his leg?
I'm
Because he's
gonna,
on.
this might be considered a bold prediction, but I'm gonna give him 15 points.
Oh wow, Cosmo over under 6 points on Uzomah before he gets injured this week.
Over under 6 or over under Akshay's bold prediction?
Well, you're probably going to go with the under on Akshay's prediction. So over under 6 points.
6 points. Who are they playing again? Miami.
Playing Miami. Yeah.
I'll go under. I just don't trust this guy at all.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to get injured in the first quarter being on Cameron's team. So, yeah, I'm going to have to say under 6
The moment
points.
he steps on the field, he's going to like trip on something.
Yeah, Uzomah, please just watch out. Get into a bunker or something. Just please do not come out this week. All right, our final matchup, the juiciest matchup of the week. The whole reason our controversial guest is on this week. We've got the classic, the controversial, the President Vladimir Putin, the 9th seed, 1-3, going against Jimmy Garoppolo's Aaron, 6th seed, 2-2. The last time these guys matched up was during our draft in the later rounds in the chat, going back and forth with presidential stuff. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I was focusing on my own draft, but it was electric. And Cosmo, let's go with you first. Who do you think is going to win this matchup and take home the crown?
This is going to be interesting. I mean, there's a lot more at stake than just a win-loss in the standings. This matchup is, I mean, there's reputations on the line, and Man, this is tough. This is very tough. It's hard for me to check right now because Akshay's team is going to be completely different than it is right now.
That's true.
I'm losing Allen, losing
Oh,
Kamara, but I'm
I
dreaming.
think I I'd hate to I hate to go against my man, but I think Akshay, President Vladimir Putin, is going to take this one this week because if you plug in his new team, so replace Kamara with David Johnson, replace Jamal Williams with I don't know, Adrian Peterson, switch Keenan Allen's going to be gone. Uh, Replace Jamal Williams with Adrian Peterson, and then put in his flex uh, Chris Thompson, and then change Devin Funches out for Sterling Shepard. I think that's a pretty solid team right there. So I think Akshay's going to shake off his woes a little bit, get his second win of the season, give Aaron his third loss of the season. I think it'll be a tight game. I don't think Aaron will have anything to be ashamed of. I just think that uh, I think I think it's gonna kind of so we saw week one Akshay's team blew up and then was terrible for 3 weeks. So I think this is gonna be one of those weeks again where his team blows up, everything's just kind of in his favor, and there's not much Aaron can do this week. But that's what I think.
I guess I'll split the difference and I'll go with Aaron. I don't like the fact that he's starting Cole Beasley, or Isaiah Crowell. But I mean, Aaron has like a very like stars and scrubs team. Like he has some of the most dynamic players on his team, and then he has a little bunch of players that are not so good.
Yeah.
But man, like Antonio Brown's gonna have a field day against Atlanta, and I think McCaffrey's gonna go off. Watson against Dallas. It's just hard. It's hard for Akshay. He's gonna be without Kamara, and that's gonna take a hit. I think he'll make it up with all the other trades he's made and the return he's got, but just to split the difference, I'll go with
So,
Aaron.
question, Cosmo, do you mind if I keep Kamara for this one week?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that, but
No, but in all realness here, in all seriousness, I do think that this is going to be a tough game, and I do hope that Aaron brings his A game in this one because just like Trump is going to be in the next couple of weeks, he's going to be down to shits. So
So how do you feel about going up against your arch nemesis in the league, Akshay?
oh no, you know what? I don't compete with idiots, so I'm just going to let.
What? Once again, I want to state that the Sausage Bowl podcast in no way, shape, or form supports anything that Akshay Verma says. Let me repeat that: Akshay Verma, anything that he says. So yes, thank you for
No,
that.
no,
you better win, Akshay, because Aaron's gonna be on here, and
yeah, no,
Yeah,
no.
want
so
him-
that,
you don't want him
that is,
winning.
It's
Trash.
it's all love here, Aaron. You know I love you, man. It's just all fun and games, but
Well, go ahead.
in all seriousness, though, why Trump?
All right,
Wow.
all right. So, moving on, we're just gonna go give a little spoiler preview. Next week, we're gonna try to get Aaron on the show to go over what happened in their matchup because this is just the most controversial, juicy matchup of the year, probably after all the fireworks that have gone on between Aaron and Akshay. So we've got Akshay on this week previewing it. We're gonna have Aaron on next week reviewing it. So we'll have to see. Will Aaron be in a good mood next week, or will he be upset a little bit? We'll have to find out. But those are our matchups of the week. Let's move real quick. Last week's bold predictions, it was just Cosmo and I on the show. So Cosmo went with David Njoku with a new quarterback. Baker Mayfield finishes as a top tight end of the week. He was wrong. Got 7.7 points. Should have listened to me when I was explaining why I dropped David Njoku, but he did not. So his bold prediction goes down the toilet.
Yeah, and down with the toilet, I've also dropped David Njoku, so whoever wants him, go for it. Be my guest.
Just watch the games. They don't even try to use him. So, but yeah. So my bold prediction last week, I said Rahi will drop 140 plus points on me. I was wrong. He dropped 115 points. It was the other way around. I dropped 150 on him. So, yep, did not work out the way my bold prediction predicted. But I will much rather take this result. So now we're going to move into our bold. Oh, no, go ahead, Cosmo.
This is like the second bold prediction you made in a row that's like the exact opposite of what you said was going to happen. Like you said, Taylor's going to win the King Sausage. He won the Stinky Sausage. You said Rahi's going to drop 140 points, and it was the exact opposite.
So
Oh
do you
my
mind?
God.
Do you mind just stating I'm going to be the Stinky
No.
Sausage of the week?
I feel bad for my bold prediction this week because I already picked against Aaron, and then if my streak continues, this is not going to help him out. But All right, our bold predictions of week 5. Akshay, why don't you go ahead and give us yours first?
Alright, sorry, Cosmo. After our amazing trade back and forth between half the league or so, I do predict that Kamara will get injured within the first quarter on Monday.
Oh my God. What
This happens,
the
you're dead to me, Akshay.
So you do this mastermind puppet string trade between like 6 different people, and then you go ahead and make your bold prediction that Kamara will get injured in the first quarter on Monday. Oh my goodness. Whew,
Oh
we'll
yeah.
have to see if that one goes. Man, if Cosmo or Akshay, you're going to be the most hated guy in our league after this week. I can just guarantee you that, especially if Kamara gets injured. So, uh,
It's
Cosmo,
all.
hit us with your bold prediction of the week.
I think we have our guest Akshay here, and I feel like we should honor him in some way. So this one's for you, Akshay. My bold prediction of the week is his goody old pal Derrick Henry, the greatest draft pick in Sausage Bowl history. Just
Which
to remind everyone,
I do
he was
want to remind. I do want to remind everyone before Cosmo continues. He is a variable to draft. If you guys want him, he is a top pick running back, and I do recommend you guys to take him on your team.
So just because you took him high in the draft does not mean you get to call him a top pick running back. Just to clarify, that's not what that means. I mean, yes, technically he was a very high pick in the 3rd round. Actually picked Derrick Henry in the 3rd round. Once again, with other people on the board like Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelsey, he picked Derrick Henry in
Joe
the third
Mixon.
round. Yeah, Joe Mixon picked him in the 3rd round. So, but yes, just because you picked him high does not qualify him as a top pick. So let's clarify that real quick. But yeah, so
Yeah, definitely not a top pick here, but I think he will finish as a top pick this week because I'm predicting that Derrick Henry will have his blow up game of the season against the terrible Buffalo Bills, one of the worst run defenses in all of the league. I think Derrick Henry will finish the week as a top 5 running back.
ooh, spicy. Akshay, will you be picking Derrick Henry back up if he does have a top 5 week?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Looking at my team, I might have to drop Sanders and pick him up.
Okay, all right. I will be ready
Go
on
for it.
those waiver wires. Yeah, go ahead and do that, please. All right, our final bold prediction of week 5. Mine, I am going to say the Crow is going to eat. Isaiah Crowell is going to score 30 plus points this week. Ooh! Let me see who he's facing this week. I didn't even look at it. Denver.
He's
Okay, this
facing
was
Denver.
probably not a great bold prediction, but Isaiah Crowell, if you look at his history, 22 points the first week, 4.9 points the second week, 18 points the third week, and 0.8 points last week. So that means he's due for a big game. And he's going to get it against Denver. He's going to eat. He's going to eat. He's going to come for you, and he's going to pick out those eyeballs. The Crow is going to eat 30 plus points. Mark it down. Aaron, you're welcome.
Based off your previous predictions, Isaiah Crowell is now projected to score negative 30 points.
Yeah, Aaron, you might want to get him out of your lineup.
Yeah.
Just the same way that Uzama is going to need to go underground to survive being on Cameron's team. You are just going to have to pull Isaiah Crowell and just shove him underground. You do not want that guy on your team this week. Just kidding. 30 plus points for Crowell. Mark it down. He's going to be in our top 5 next week. So, but there you have it. That is our week 5 preview. Next week, we're going to be coming at you again with the week 5 review, looking into week 6. And we're going to have, as we spoke before, we're going to try to get Aaron on the show next week to review his juicy matchup with Akshay this next week. So, yeah, just once again, we went over the news of the week. We got our top performers. Thank you for always tuning in for the new special election tournament with Akshay, King Sausage, myself, Stinky Sausage, Akshay this last week. Thanks for listening again, especially to the crazy Kamara sweepstakes with the mastermind Akshay behind it. What a great show. So thank you for tuning in. Cosmo, do you have any
Thank you for
final
having
words?
me.
Wow. That's all I gotta say. I don't know if this is going to be our most loved show or our most hated show, so this might get us canceled. But it was good while it lasted.
Just once again, the Sausage Bowl podcast does not in any way, shape, or form support anything that Akshay Verma, that is Akshay Verma, Verma, says we do not support whatsoever anything that was said in here. And just to know, for Nahum's team, I am just reading his team name. I am no way, shape, or form agreeing with the statement. But yes,
And
there you have it. Akshay, any last words?
yeah, I do want to say everything I did say throughout this podcast that was negative or was satirical was all. That's all it was. Satirical. It was just a joke. I was just making fun of the players and the names and everything. But I do apologize in advance for the whole Kamara issue, and I hope it comes to helping me out. And I do apologize, Danny.
There's no reason to
I
apologize.
do
You worked the
apologize.
system. Uh, it was a smart play. I still don't quite believe it, but a smart play on your part if it's true. So,
I mean,
uh,
I did message check
I
Cosmos
know,
phone, man.
but all right. Well,
That
I didn't expect it to happen the way it happened, but I expected some kind of consequence.
oh my God. I'm still just in shock. All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Week 5 Sausage Bowl podcast or Week 4. I honestly don't know what we name these things. We do it in the middle of the week. So the one previewing Week 5, the one reviewing Week 4. Thanks for listening. Thank you to our controversial guest, Akshay, for coming on the show. As always, Cosmo and I signing out. See you guys next week.